Why, hello there, friend. Hello. How are you doing today? How are you doing today? Mm-hmm. Uh, oh, I see. Well, I hope you're doing well. It's been quite a while since I've done a soft-spoken video, huh? Well, for this one, we will be rating sound triggers. Not only that, but we will be rating triggers in 2 separate videos. I know. But I feel visual triggers deserve a video of their own, as some triggers may excel where others don't. For now, let's start with the basic sound triggers. Tapping, brushing, water, and voice. Each of these triggers have their own subcategories. Let's start with tapping. Tapping as a whole is a very satisfying trigger, depending on what it's used on. For this one, I wanted to give it a fair test. From leather to paper and hardback books, book tapping / book handling is personally one of my favorites. The sleight of hand against certain books, to then tapping and then the page flipping just make my brain melt. But I can't just be biased and rate this on my own. This is my sister, Willow, and Willow, how long have you been listening to ASMR?
About like 5 years of my life.
5 years of your life? And would you say you're someone who enjoys it, or someone who is kind of very specific about the type of ASMR you listen to?
I like it. I like all of it.
You like all of it?
Almost.
Almost?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is where Willow and I share similar interests. We both really enjoy ASMR, find it interesting. It was actually Willow that introduced me to GB ASMR, which led me to discover a bit more of the ASMR community and start listening to it a bit more. So actually, Willow has been listening to ASMR for longer than I have. So I feel Willow is probably the most perfect candidate for this video, because she knows what ASMR is supposed to sound like. She knows what all the ASMR triggers are like, and she's she has experience, okay? Despite not being an ASMR creator, she has experience, okay? Trust me when I say
anyway.
this.
Not yet.
Not yet, anyway. She's not a creator.
Not yet, guys.
She'll get there. She'll get there. So, the first trigger that we're going to be rating on this tier list, okay, is book tapping. So, what are your thoughts on book tapping? What do you personally think from listening to ASMR videos for a while? And I'm assuming that you have heard book tapping a decent amount of times. What do you think about the trigger?
I personally like it very much because I think like it's very subtle. It almost sounds like rain, kind of like falling on. I don't know how to explain it. It just kind of sounds like rain if you do it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it very much. I think it's a good common trigger that comes along.
Personally, for me, I absolutely adore this trigger. I think it's really nice. Every single time I've listened to it, I don't really think there's really any way that you could do it wrong. And it's just like a very calming trigger. So for me personally, I would say it's like a good classic, not an overrated classic, but a good classic that I feel deserves to be an S tier. But do you think it's like on that level? Do we have the same feeling about that?
Yeah, but like A or S, I'm fine either way.
Yeah. Why would you put it in A? Would you feel like it's not like
I mean, it's a good classic. You hear very often. And you just kind of like, well, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's not the best one out there. I'm personally very like more towards, um, more what's it called? Mouth sounds. That's my personal thing. But I still think it's very good and very relaxing. So I still put it in A.
Oh, okay. Well then we'll actually decide to go with Willow's decision, and we're gonna put book tapping in A tier. I would like very strongly put it in S personally for me, but everybody has like different like perspectives and whatever, and I feel like maybe I overrate things a little bit, so I feel like A tier for now would be the proper placement for book tapping. This is a trigger I don't see often, but can provide some satisfying results depending on the type of glass as well as the tempo. So, what are your thoughts on glass tapping? Like, is it a trigger that you see often or a few times, or because personally I don't see it like as much.
Yeah, I definitely don't see it. Not as much. Um, Especially with the kind of videos I'll be watching. I don't usually see it, but like when you're seeing, what was it? You're seeing just like kind of a no speaking video. You will see kind of that kind of stuff where it's like, oh, random object tapping in glass is inevitable. Although it's not one of my favorites, I think it still sounds nice, so I kind of like it.
Yeah. I feel like for me, knowing that I don't see it as often, I appreciate it a bit more because it's something that like every once in a while when I come across it, it's such like a weirdly unique sound in its own because I'm so used to like, you know, the ruffling sounds. So hearing something so harsh and sometimes yet so soft, like as glass, it's an intriguing sound that kind of catches my brain off guard and gives me a lot more tingles than I would expect. I don't know. I honestly want to put it like in B or A tier because it's just a sound that I don't hear as often, and if done right, it sounds great. Like it's really nice. What do you think? Where would you put it?
Yeah, but like for me, it's on the lower spectrum because it's just not a personal favorite. But I'd say our middle point would probably be B.
So glass tapping will go into B tier. There are all sorts of plastic objects that could be tapped on and provide a variety of different sounds. But for this one, I just went for something simple. So, how do you feel about plastic tapping? Do you hear it often from what you listen to? Is it something that you feel is like used very often?
It's not really used as also often for me, I think. I mean, it'll be used very shortly, but it's not used in a long period of time. Like when you're introducing something that's plastic, a trigger that will be plastic, you hear that, but I don't hear it very often, like for a long period.
And would you, do you think that you would hear it like for a longer period, or is it something that you are okay with being like a short little look at this thing?
Yeah, I'm okay with a short little, like, look at this thing, because I feel like one trigger for too long, for me personally, can be at least a very simple trigger that doesn't have a lot of, like, what is it called, like, sound wave to it. It doesn't intrigue me. Yeah.
I see. Okay. So, for you personally, where would you put this trigger on the tier list?
Well, C.
I feel like plastic triggers for me should. I feel fine with them being at C tier. I feel like C tier is a good spot for them. So yeah, we'll put plastic triggers in C tier. For the most part, I could understand why it's never used, as it is considered a bit more of a harsh sound. Personally, metal for me is not something that I hear like at all in ASMR. I think the only time I've ever heard it used as a trigger is once in like an ASMR bakery video, and that was like the only time I've heard metal really used in ASMR. So I think it's like a really interesting trigger that if done right, I think it sounds amazing personally.
Back to it. I think personally, metal is like, it's not really seen as much, for sure. I agree with that. Um, it's more associated with metal being unsatisfactory in my opinion, because metal upon metal doesn't sound good. Just metal in general, it's like
It's
people
very
when they hear
harsh for
metal,
ASMR.
yeah, it's very harsh, very harsh. So people don't usually like see it as like, oh, that's a good ASMR trigger, and I agree, trigger. I agree. I agree that personally, it's not exactly my favorite, especially the second one you did for me, the bowl. It's not my favorite, but the first one was somewhat okay.
Okay. So, for you, where would you put this trigger on the tier list? Because I'm feeling like either D or C. Because I wouldn't say it's like bad, absolutely horrid, like it deserves to go
Yeah,
into the pits of F. But I feel like it's decent. Like it's not bad.
for sure. I think yeah, around D is my point.
We're gonna put metal tapping in D tier. This is another classic. From tables to chairs to spoons, I've seen this trigger used in a lot of different ways. I've seen wood used in a lot of ways. You got wood soup, right? Which is like one of the most popular ASMR triggers that are like thousands, if not like millions of videos dedicated to. And then you have just like the simple wood table tapping, which in itself is really satisfying to me at least. And I feel like wood triggers in general are just one of the easiest and most satisfying classics to go with. Uh, you got wood frogs too, right? Which was like one of the, I'm pretty sure it was one of the first ones that I used. Are you falling asleep? You're just like slowly like. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Classic trigger. What are your thoughts on wood triggers?
I like them a lot. Personally, it's one of my favorites from the no speaking genre. I like wood tapping on more. I mean, other than the book tapping, I think wood tapping is a good one too. Because it's a good classic. It's a good like. I know I said that about like a lot of them, but it really is. Um, you just get a piece of wood and you just kind of tap on it.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
we're gonna put, we will put wood tapping in A tier.
I personally do not have super long nails, so tapping is almost impossible for me, but I did do my best to make it clear.
Personally, for me, nail tapping is something that I don't enjoy, but I don't dislike. Like, I don't dislike nail tapping. I think it's an interesting trigger. I think it has a nice place. I don't think it's like bad or anything. But I wonder what your opinion. What is your opinion on nail tapping?
Okay. With this specific audio that we listen to, I personally think that it's not the best with the audio that we listen to. I think it's very dull, in my opinion. But with longer nails, with more like, acrylics, how they sound against each other, those sound like heavenly. I love those. But with just like shorter nails, just on like natural nails, sometimes it can sound a bit bland.
Yeah, because personally, me myself, I tried to replicate this the best that I could, but I don't really have long nails, so I wasn't really able to make decent quality nail tapping. I don't really enjoy nail tapping too much, but that's just me. So for you, it seems like you have more of like a higher thinking about nail tapping. So where would you put it on the tier list?
Yeah, it's a favorite for me, honestly. But I might put it either in A or B. It's not amazing, but I like it.
Okay, I think we'll put it in B tier because I'm a little bit on the lower end, so we'll put it in B tier.
Now I know there are a million different tapping triggers across the entirety of the ASMR community in general, but let's move on to brushing. I love the way this sounds. It's such a brain melting and sometimes overwhelming trigger that just makes me so sleepy. But I do wonder what other people have to say about it.
I really like. I love pom pom brushing. Like pom pom brushing is something that I've like kept around on my channel for a really long time. Kind of always had it on my channel. I think it's like a really deep and nice trigger, but I do wonder what you think about it personally as someone who's listened to ASMR a lot.
I think it's okay. Like, I'm not a huge fan of having something being brushed right up against my ear, in my opinion. But even then, like hair brushing, I feel like is better for me. I like that. Like I like that more. But yeah. So I would put it. I can say where I put it now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I put it in like maybe C.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not
I think
terrible.
we'll level with C because I would put it much higher because for me it's like I love it, but I feel like C is a good middle ground for pom-pom brushing, at least for non-brushing enjoyers.
Another classic. I really do hope I did this one justice.
I think I think this is great. Either way, I think I like it. And it's very, I don't know, it's very soothing because it's very, oh, it's very like long. How do I say it? It's like a long duration of sound all at once. You know, it goes like it goes for a long time. And I think even though it's not usually a good big favorite, I think I still enjoy it. So I would personally put it at like a B,
Okay, okay. Yeah, I think I
B or
would.
C.
I would put hairbrushing just as a whole in B tier for me. I feel like B tier is a good place for hairbrushing.
This is a very popular trigger that I've seen an hour to even 3 hour videos dedicated to.
I enjoy it. I like it. I do. It's great. It's makeup brushes. You hear it all the time. You hear it like with, oh, what was it? Ear cleaning ASMR, cleaning your ears, doing your makeup, all that stuff. It's a good normal trigger. I enjoy it. Lovely. I put it in like B tier, A tier.
Makeup brushing is a very like well used trigger. Like it's used very often and for a good reason. A lot of people love it, a lot of people enjoy it, and it's just a good trigger in general. So yeah, I feel like B tier is good. I feel like we're putting a lot of things in B tier, but B tier is good for this trigger.
have a huge bias on this one, as it was one of my own discovered triggers that gave me big tingles while editing one of my past videos.
Alright. My personal opinion is that, I'm not a big fan of brushing, as I said before, and it's harsh for me. It's very harsh, and I don't prefer it. So personally, I would put it in a different tier. I would put it more towards like D.
D? Wow. I feel like we gotta settle and just put it in C then. We gotta keep it in the middle.
B B B B B B B C C C C C C C
C, 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 C. B.
C C C C C.
We're gonna put it in C here.
This can be slow, this can be fast, but it's still a classic in itself.
Hand brushing is used quite often in ASMR videos, from finger flutters to just like hand rubbing, and even like some people will wear like the medical grade gloves and do those. So hand brushing for me personally is a very like harsh sound. It's not something I would prefer in a full length video, but just little tiny segments of it where it's included for a short period of time is great.
It's not my favorite, really. I don't like it. Personally, I feel like if it's too long period, if it's too like in your ear, I'm not a huge fan. Like if it's for a very, very short period where they're like, oh, look at my nails, and they like finger flutter for a second, yeah, but I don't really like it on high intensity ASMRs. So I think it's not exactly my favorite, so I would put it quite low on the list.
Like if you were to be brutally honest,
D.
D. Okay. We're gonna put not finger fluttering, but hand brushing in D tier.
Similar to hairbrushing, but not quite, as it provides its own charm. This is the last trigger for this category, so let's see what others have to say.
I would put it in A.
A.
A or S. Like, it is a good one, and it reminds me of Fire. Everybody loves Fire. It's pretty, it's bright, all that stuff. I like it. And it sounds nice. If it's used right, if it's not too aggressive, it sounds nice.
So do we want to have this be our first S, or do we want to keep our row of A's?
I like our A's.
Okay. Well, I have one that I definitely will fight you on if it's not an S tier, because it's my personal favorite.
Cute.
But we're gonna put fur brushing in A tier.
Water/liquid triggers come in a few different forms, but let's start off strong with one of my own personal favorites. From the can opening to the fizz to the pour, I can't get over how tingly this trigger is for me.
Soda is a trigger that I absolutely love, and just like 100% for me is a personal S tier, because it's just top tier in terms of everything. From, again, the can opening to the fizz to the pour, it's just tingles everywhere for me personally. So I personally S tier.
I think this will be our first S. I like it. I think it makes my head feel like, and it makes soup yummy in my brain.
That was the right
and
answer.
Fizzy, crunchy.
That was the
Crunchy.
right answer.
I got the good ending. Guys, I got the good ending.
We're putting soda in S tier. This is our first S, and I am proud to say it.
You really thought I was gonna drop it, weren't you? I see you.
Not my favorite. It's okay. I mean, it just sounds like, oh, I'm underwater. Ooh, I'm under the water. Help. I'm under the water. Help me. Anyways, it just sounds so, like, it's not my favorite. It doesn't give me the tingles of ASMR. So I'd put it like C.
C. Okay. I think I can agree with Willow on this one to an extent. As enjoyable as I find water globes, I don't think they are the greatest, most amazing trigger in the world. I feel like there are a lot more that are just like great and I prefer and would listen to more often. But yeah, water globes I feel like are a good middle ground at C tier.
feel like sponges should fit into the water category just fine, as you do need plenty of water to make them sound fizzy and satisfying.
I'm not sure if I'm the best reference for sponges as I'm still figuring out and learning how to use the trigger. But what about you? Do you hear sponges often in your ASMR videos?
No.
How do you feel about them? How do you feel about sponges?
Okay. I mean, they're honestly not a big favorite, but then again, I think they're just not a big favorite because I don't hear them often. And, it's new, and I don't like new because I'm autistic. No, I'm kidding. But, yeah, I don't know. It's not a huge favorite, but I think it can be seen as relaxing. So maybe like a C.
Yeah, I feel like I'm unsure about sponges as well, so I would also put them in C tier as I'm like, I don't hate them, but I don't really love them. I feel like C tier is a good place for sponges.
This is a trigger I personally don't see often and feel it's a bit more of a niche in itself.
I'm not sure if it's like the best trigger out there. Personally, for me, I would put it like B or C tier, maybe even D, like one of those three.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad. Like, I don't think it's terrible. C.
We're going to put boiling water at C tier.
For this one, I feel a slow pour makes for a more satisfying sound, but what do you think?
I don't like it. Let's just put it at like F tier.
Pouring water for me personally as well is a little bit something that makes me uncomfortable personally, but that's just a me thing. So I kind of agree with Willow here when I say this is going to be our first F tier. We're going to put pouring water F tier. Sorry.
I don't have many spray bottles, but I did use some different ones, as some provided more satisfying sounds than others.
I think like spraying, I think when it goes onto the mic, like if you put like plastic wrap over it and you spray over it and it goes on the mic, it sounds pretty, it sounds nice, it sounds cool. I like it. Does it give me tingles? Sometimes. But just like pure spraying inside of a room, like you just hear the ch-ch-ch, it's not my favorite.
Okay. So just the spraying trigger in general, where would you place that? It doesn't have to be this one specifically, but just spraying triggers in general.
C.
C? Okay.
Again.
Yeah. We have a lot of things in C, but we're gonna put the spraying trigger in C.
Now to end this tier list off, we have vocal and mouth triggers. I will make some of these a little shorter, as I understand that mouth triggers are not everyone's cup of tea. It's always whispering versus soft-spoken, but honestly, both serve the purpose of presenting your voice, each having their own upsides and downsides, but put together, they can add more depth and relaxation to a video.
If you were to combine just speaking in general for ASMR as a whole, where would you put it in the tier list?
B.
Okay. So for soft
A good
spoken
B.
and whispering, we're gonna put them in B tier.
I was honestly surprised, as a person who doesn't enjoy their singing or humming voice, that a lot of people started asking me for videos dedicated to humming.
I think humming's great, especially if you have a good humming voice, if you have that nice soft, like, I hate to say it, motherly tone, it will be great. It'll feel nostalgic, it'll feel like very comforting, very calming. But, yeah, I like it. I'd put it in probably a B tier.
Yeah.
For the beginning of the video, anyway.
I feel the same. I feel about the same about humming. I feel like B tier is good.
This is often confused with inaudible whispering. I personally have made that mistake myself. I will admit I do enjoy this more than inaudible whispering, but that's just me.
Love it. Love it so much. Listen to it like a lot. Yeah, I like it. I think it's great. I put it in a good A or even S tier if it's that good, but I don't know which one. It really depends on you.
I feel like, for me personally, I really, really enjoy performing unintelligible whispers as much as listening to unintelligible whispers, and I do seek out those ASMR videos often, so I would put it in S tier, to be honest. I feel like unintelligible whispers are a good S tier for me.
Audible whispers can be done in many different ways, but this personally is one of my favorite as it feels like you're more hearing a conversation from the other room.
I think, that's great. Love it. Yeah, I like it. I think it's good for like background noise, maybe. Good for like, if you want to sound far away like that, that's great. I put it in maybe an A tier, B tier.
Yeah, I feel like A or B tier is pretty good, but if I were to flip a coin and imagine it in my head, it would land in A tier, so. No, quickly, close your eyes and flip your paw around, and then stop when I tell you to stop. Okay. Stop. B tier.
This can vary from popping to clicking to smacking and honestly deserves a subcategory of its own. But for this, I'll mush them all in one.
Mouse sounds are a good classic, and I feel like they're used quite often in ASMR in many different ways. Some people make full-length videos on them, sometimes they're used in segments, but they're a genuinely good classic. For me personally, I feel like they're deserving of an A or S tier, but I do wonder what Willow has to say.
Yeah, I like mouse sounds in general. It's great. Love them. They're my favorite. As I said before, my favorites is like, I like listening to mouse sounds over like tapping or object use. I think like especially like close whispers, close like clicky whispers. Love them, love them, love them. So yeah, I'd say that that would be an S tier for me. Just overall mouth sounds.
Yeah, yeah. Good tingly
Period.
noises. Period.
Period.
Sounds. There are a vast amount of trigger words that people love hearing, and I tried to pick out a decent selection, but for the final rating in this list, let's see where it lands.
I like them. They're great, especially if they're clicky. If they're clicky, like, have you ever heard the, what's it called? Have you ever heard, like, the foreign language ones? Love those. A tier.
Yeah, I agree. A tier. I feel like that's a good point. That's a good point.
And with that, here is the final sound trigger list. What do you think? Did we rate these well? What sound triggers would you have liked to see rated? And should I do more of these? That's enough questions though. If you're not asleep by now, I would like to give a huge thank you to my Patreons for making this video and many others possible. Thank you to Boomin, Grey Kitty Cat, Kato Floof, Jordy TM, Big Dave, Fontaine, Shadow Gremlin, and others for joining my Patreon and supporting my content. I deeply appreciate their support, and if you would like to help me make more videos like this and are able, you can check out my Patreon down in the description below.
Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.